Welcome along, everybody. We are back for the final time in Silver Season 8 then. We are back for the 24th round of the season here in Abu Dhabi then to finish off 2024 and finish off this season here as well then. Looking forward to getting started hopefully soon, and we can crack on then for the final time then in Silver Season 8 then. Looking forward to this one, of course. As usual, it is going to be an epic Grand Prix once again, but well, firstly, we need to get the drivers and get themselves sorted and get readied up now, because we're waiting to get themselves cracking then for qualifying first, which is an 18-minute shootout in qualifying then before we get into the 29 laps of Grand Prix racing here in the Yas Marina. And looking forward to getting started then. Good evening from Astra John then in the comment section, and I don't know what Fallen has said salute emoji, that is, I think that is. Good stuff indeed. Right then, well, we're just waiting. We're just sitting here patiently, waiting for the race to start then, or the qualifying to start, I should say. Then now the countdown has begun, and we can crack on then to the to the racing itself, then to the qualifying first, then of course, and then we get ourselves into the action here for the final time in 2024. Then for silver, that is, of course, bronze, the championship fight. Then coming out tomorrow night. Then the championship fight is still to be decided between Kian and Marsky, and it's gone to the final round of 24 rounds in bronze tomorrow night. So stay tuned for that one from 7:30 p.m. then on Tuesday. And first of all, we've got to settle the points, the pride, and the and everything else. Then here in silver, then we'll find out what is to come here in Abu Dhabi. Of course, in the 100% race on Wednesday last week, we had rain, didn't we, in Abu Dhabi, which was very, very untoward. So there we go then. We can crack on now and get ourselves started then for the season finale here in Abu Dhabi. Then just waiting for all the drivers to load themselves into the garages, into the cars, and we can crack on then for the final time here. Like I said, looking forward to this Grand Prix. Then it's going to be an exciting one here tonight then, I'm sure. We will have a look and see what everyone is doing then as we get ourselves loaded in then into the pit lane now to start ourselves off for the final time. And like I said, we've got the grid set then, full 20 on the grid then. Miranov then in for Riyadh. Then we've also got, who else have we got? We've got Muta in for Kaidel in the McLaren. And then we have got Justify in the kick then in place of Nigel. Then we've got, who else have we got? Tori then in the Haas then in place of somebody. And we've got, I think, MHD as well then in place of, I believe that's Irvine as well. Then unfortunately for the Haas pair, they haven't got anybody scoring for them tonight. Then of course the reserves do score for their own sake, that is, in terms of the Drivers' Championship. So if they were to score as a reserve then in a race, then they would be able to claim those points then when they join the grid full time, and that will be the same for next season as well then, which will be a much shorter season as well. Then Stephen has said good luck, Silver. Then one pit stop race, says Stephen. Okay. I think is Stephen, I'm not sure, Stephen Anthony. So, of course, looking forward to seeing what he does in bronze tomorrow night. But there we are then. We have a few more cars out on track then. We've got Jay Hings then starting us off as we go through into turn 4 and 5. And there's a very close Haas in proximity there as well then to Jay Hings. I'm not quite sure what's going on there, but nonetheless, we can wait and see. So there we are then. Both the Haas is out on track then. So is there's a Racing Bull then of Vanquish out on the circuit as well as a Red Bull of Lewis Riley as well then. Good stuff indeed. So here we go then. Stephen has said there's a one pit stop race then, so I think we're looking to see a repeat then of gold last night then, which was a medium to hard or hard to medium race that was. So we'll have to wait and see then if that's going to be the case then, unfolding in front of our very eyes in the next 16 minutes or so then before we get ourselves into the Grand Prix itself, or into the start of the Grand Prix itself then. But firstly, we've got qualifying to take us through then into the hotel complex then is Jay Hings then to take us through the first flying lap then, or very shortly the first flying lap then of the qualifying session then. 16 minutes remain here. We've only just started the qualifying, then no drivers have set a time just yet then, of course, but Jay Hinks is going to set ourselves underway here for the qualifying then, and there's a Haas very close in proximity to the Aston Martin there, which I'm not quite sure is going to be very good news then for I think it's Tori then, who's going to have a few issues then if he gets a bit too close to that Aston Martin as well then, heading into the Verstappen corner, of course, in 2021 that is, where he won the championship pretty much by getting himself past here into the hairpin now as well, and powering down onto the back straight. Then there is an Alpine heading ahead of us, I should say there, but I think just staying out of the way then of these two flying down the main straight then, or the back straight really, but now into the first of the chicanes then, looking to negotiate through here very nicely indeed, and Jay Hings looking pretty smooth through that section of the complex as it stands, and onto the next DRS straight then, which is going to be another toe down here, and there's I'm not quite sure what's happened to the Haas because he's gone slower once again then. then Jack Hammer said, go Mr. Vauxhall then. I'm not quite sure who Mr. Vauxhall is, but there we go. We will take it, and we will... well, come along then. But we are not quite sure who Mr. Vauxhall is. If you're going to lighten us in the comment section, just let us know. But into Sector 3 then for Jay Hings, then into the final couple of corners, then under the hotel we go then for Jay Hings. This is the famous Latifi corner then, but thankfully for Jay Hings, he stayed out of the wall there, and now through the last couple of corners then for the Aston Martin to finish off the lap. Then deployment all used up then in this first lap. Then here he comes up to the line of 23.3 for the Aston Martin driver, then finishes off the first lap of the session. Good stuff indeed. Who is next? I think Lewis Riley then is coming through then in the next few seconds. Then here he is then round the final corner then for the Red Bull driver. Then let's see where he's going to go then in place of Jay Hings. And it's a 23.3 as well then for Lewis Riley. Then good stuff indeed. Currently on the front row of the grid, only 2 drivers have set a time, of course, though. So there's still plenty of time then for other chopping and changing, let's just say. Then Justify is coming round the final couple of corners as well. Then in the kick Sauber tonight then for Justify. Up to the line then it's a 24.0. Then puts himself P3. Where is Kiki around the final corner as well? Then MHD is retired in the pit lane, I think. Then here he comes then, Kiki on pole position then with a 22.6. Then he's eclipsed the Aston Martin of Jay Hings, and we'll do it as Kamara Race has done a 23.1. Then he's eclipsed Jay Hings, he's eclipsed Lewis Riley, then he's eclipsed Kamara Racer as well, then by half a second then to Kamara Racer, and that's pretty good stuff indeed from Kiki. Currently on pole position by quite a margin as well as it stands. Into Sector 3 goes Mumford. Then we've just had Astrodron do a 25.1, then up into P6 for the time being. Then Maranov starting off a lap, then Mumford going into Sector 3 now. Who says fall in as well, then good stuff. Right, it doesn't look like anybody knows, to be fair, so there we go then as we go through into the final couple of corners for Mumford, and now heading into the dying embers of the first lap then for the Alpine car, then heading into the final corner now. Let's see where he can go then up to the line. It's P1 then with a 22.6. Then he rivals Kiki for that top spot. Then he takes away that top spot by 40 hundredths of a second there. So not thousands, 40 hundredths of a second. Good stuff indeed then. Whereas the rest of the field then, SG has done a 23.6, then puts himself P6 for the time being, ahead of both the kick Saubers. RTB's done 24.3, then puts himself P8, then splitting the 2 kick Saubers as it stands. We've got Motors starting off a lap as well then into the McLaren for tonight's race. Then of course reserving in place. We've got, I thought it was Red Bull then having a few issues in the pit lane there, but not quite. It is of course reserving in place of Kydell tonight then as well. Then is Muta, then Maranov then in the Red Bull then in place of Riyadh, heading into the final sector as well here. Let's see what the Red Bull driver can do then into the final few corners here as well. And now finishing off the lap then for his first outing here in qualifying then with 12 minutes left of the session. Into the final corner we go then for the Red Bull, then up to the line. What's it going to be this time for Maranov? It's a P3, then 22.8 then for the Red Bull. Good stuff indeed. Currently on the second row of the grid then as it stands. RTB, and I'm not sure if that's his best time then, but he's looking to go out again and probably and improve. We've got both of the McLarens out on circuit as well then, but Motors further along then into Sector 3. Then goes the first of the 2, and Purple in Sector 2 as well. That's looking promising stuff indeed then for the McLaren driver, then heading through the hairpin. Then that's it's a reprofile turn, but it's not the I don't think it was the easiest turn then for Muta. Then he was seemed to be sliding that car around then through the corner then on traction. Now into the hotel section as well here, but looking to keep this in check through the Latifi corner then, and yes, he's done it very nicely indeed. Brilliant stuff. Into the final corner now for Muta then to finish off his first flying lap then here in this qualifying session. It's a 23.3, puts himself P7 for the time being then. Good stuff indeed. Then Mr. Elite is heading through the final couple of corners as well then in the second McLaren on track, that is, and let's see what he can do then on his first outing as well. Then here he comes up to the line then. It's a 24.0, puts himself P9 into the top 10 then for Mr. Elite. Then good stuff indeed. Very good stuff indeed then as well. Then heading into Sector 3 goes Vanquish now, and he is 53.3 then in Sector. Oh dear, that car looking very twitchy through that hairpin as well then. My goodness me then, and there's a few drivers I think having a few issues with that final hairpin of Sector 2 then into Sector 3 now into the hotel complex. This is where it gets a bit more twitchy as well then, especially at this famous corner now, and Yeah, he's made it through there just about then. Good stuff indeed. That's all right then. So long as he gets through there without tapping the wall like Latifi did, then it's all right, in my opinion. Then heading into the final corner, then let's see what Vanquish can do. Then it's a 24-2, puts himself P11 for the time being. Then good stuff indeed. Then Beast is out on circuit. Of course, the champion then has been crowned in the US of A a long time ago now, but he is looking to try and get himself a good time on the board. Then where is Reflection is heading through into Sector 3. Reflection's heading for a spin there in Sector 3. My goodness me, then that car has definitely gone for a bit of a twist rather than going through that hairpin, or correctly that is, and unfortunately he's going to have to abandon his lap time and come back round again. Then so where is Beast? Then Beast is going through Sector 2 chicane. Vauxhall Astra, that makes sense. Right then, so yeah, I think that's Astrodron then, if of all people. Yeah, unless there's somebody else out there, but the Vauxhall Astra. But there we go. But fair enough. It's quite a common car then. Never mind. Thankfully, not in F1 just yet then. But yeah, we'll see if Vauxhall are going to enter the Astra F1 car very soon. Ultimate Beast then heading into Sector 3 then for his first outing here as well. Then of course he doesn't need to challenge anything really, does he? He's all comfortable. He's all wrapped up in terms of the driver's title then and the constructor's title for Mercedes, so it is just a question of pride then for Ultimate Beast then here tonight. Then let's see what he can do then. It's a 23-8 then 22-8, sorry, goodness me, on to the second row of the grid then, behind his teammate by 0.2 of a second though, which is uncharacteristic of Beast. Then we've seen Beast get lots of pole positions this season, and it has been looking pretty good indeed. Then here comes Kamara racing, then he looks like he's racing to the line then once again then, and he is currently P5 with a 23.157 into Sector 3. He's almost a 10th and a half up on his previous time. That would put him into, well, keep him actually in the 23s just about, but unless he can find some more time then in Sector 3, then let's find out then as we head into the hotel complex once again. Then evening Alex, and all then says Mushroom as well then, evening all to Mushroom as well. And there's quite a bit of traffic here, and they need to get themselves out of the way then of this speeding Williams then coming through into the final corner now for Kamara Racer. Then into the pit lane goes that Red Bull, and here comes Kamara Racer then. He stays P5, but he has improved into the 22s there, 22.966 then for Kamara Racer then, cementing his place then in P5 as it stands then in qualifying for the time being. That is 8 minutes left of the session then. You having chicky soup thingy, Gordo then for, where's Gordo then? Gordo is, he's in the pit lane. He's not come out of the pit lane just yet. Then he's got 8 minutes left. Then so maybe Gordo is having some chicky soup thingy, as is his customary dinner then on a Monday night. Then it looks like. So there we go. Then SG then coming through into the penultimate couple of corners. Then there's a yellow flag then for a Mercedes there. Hopefully that Mercedes got out of the way just in time. Yeah, heading on to the start finish line. Then he's improved by a 10th and a half. Then stays P9 for the time being though, behind the McLaren. In a bit of a McLaren sandwich then is SG then for the time being. Then Astrodron is back out on circuit. Then he's just about to, I think he's just finished off a lap then, 24.3 then for Astrodron then at the moment. Then Vessia then starting off a lap, then heading through Sector 2. Where is this man here then? This is the Alpine of Sweet MJP, and he is coming up to the finish off his first lap as well. Then 7 minutes left of the session. He's not finishing off his first lap because he's coming back into the pit lane now. So there he's got me there once again. Then I think there's a lot of people who are going to be doing that then in the well, a lot of people have done that in this season and in previous seasons as well. Then so there we go. Then. Just a chicky pasty from the freezer, says Blair. I think that's Gordo. Chicky pasty thingy, that's new then. So that's yeah, variety then of chicky pasty stuff, or chicky stuff that is. Vessia unfortunately invalidating his time then going through the Latifi corner. Then that's him done and dusted unfortunately on that lap. Then he can go back round again though. He's got plenty of time. Then Astrodron then is coming back to the pit lane, I believe. We'll come back to him then. Where is Muta then back out on a lap? Then Jay Hings is on a lap as well. Then no, he's not. He's just finished a lap. Then he's P6 for the time being at 23.0 then for the Aston Martin. Then Moranov back on track as well. Then where is Muta then heading into the chicane then of Sector 2, and so far so good then for the McLaren driver. Then let's see what his Delta's going to be saying then in Sector 2 at the end here of this straight. Then the second DRS zone of the circuit, then the second only DRS zone of the circuit. There's only two, and we head into, oh my goodness me, then heading into Sector 3. Then here's almost 0.4 of a second up on his previous time. Then that will put him into the range then of a row 2 position as it stands. But can he find even more time then in Sector 3? We'll find out very shortly. So yeah, Chicky Soup thingy is out, and Chicky Pasty thingy is back in then, says Gordo. Then good stuff indeed. Right, then here comes Muta then round the final couple of corners. 5.5 minutes left of the session. Then here he comes in the McLaren then to finish off his second attempt. Then it's P4, 22.860. Then he's improved by over half a second then to displace Beast down to P5 then, and Kamara down to P6. Moranov's improved to a P2 then onto the front row then from Moranov, a 22.652. Then there's only 300s away then from pole position, which is currently held by Mumford, who's only done one run in this session so far. Brilliant stuff indeed. Then Reflections jumped up to P8 then in the Williams, and fantastic stuff indeed. 23.2 from the Williams driver then of Reflection. Then good stuff indeed. Here comes Mr. Elite then flying through the final sector. And let's see what Mr. Elite can do then on his second run. Then can he get himself in the top 10? Then we'll find out now. We'll find out. Well, we won't find out right now. We'll find out shortly. Around the final corner, there's a Ferrari then just starting off a lap, I think. Then here comes Mr. Elite. Then he stays P12, that is, but he has improved by over 2.5 tenths of a second. Then, oh my goodness me, which is pretty good stuff indeed. I had a big drink of some squash earlier, so I know I'm regretting it. Vanquish then up into P11, then a 23.4 for him. I think that's his first lap on the timesheets as well. Then good stuff indeed. Reflection coming back into the pit lane. Same for Muta and Moranov as well. Then there's still time for drivers to come out of the pit lane at the moment. In this moment, I should say, that in this final qualifying of the season, the final qualifying for silver in 2024. And here comes Justify then. I thought it was going to be Astrodron, but it's Justify then heading into sector 3. I think he is on a lap still. He's 2.5 tenths up on his previous time. That's good stuff indeed. Then could displace Mr. Elite then down to P14. Voxel Astra says Fallen as well. Then yes, he is the one. Then we'll come back to him then as he gets himself sorted on an outlap for the time being. Then we'll get ourselves a shot of him when we go through onto his flying lap. Then Justify then in the other kick Sauber then heading through the Latifi corner. Then let's see what Justify can do then in the green machine heading up to the line then in this next attempt then, and round the final corner we go then, going a bit wide there, but now up to the line then. He's P13. He's improved by almost half a second as well then into P13, then displacing Mr. Elite down to P14. Then Mr. Elite has got time just about, I think, to get himself back in and back out again then to set off. Oh dear, that was dodgy. That almost put him into a wall then, I think. Then Vanquish then coming back into the pit lane. He's got time to go again then, as has Beast. Beast has gone out on the track then, so has Astrodron then. So Voxel Astra then for Fallen is on track now. So we'll have a look and see what he's doing on board then with the Kick Sauber machine then into the hotel section. And of course just finishing off, finalising the tyre temperatures, then making sure we've got everything ticked and ready then to start off the final flying lap then of the qualifying session then, as we go into the final corner now for Voxel Astra, or Astra John I should call him, heading up to the line now to start off the lap. Then here we go then in the green machine then heading into turn 1. Then we'll fly through, then flicking the car into the left-hander then, and making sure we don't go too wide on the exit there as well. Then now into turn 2, then holding the car then as tight to the line as you can, then through turn 3 as well then, and down towards turn 4 then, which is not technically a turn then, and into turn 5 as well then, which is the hairpin. Heavy braking zone here then, making sure you get it turned in just at the right point then, and now you can power down that main straight or back straight with some DRS assistance as well. Chicky Pasty thing is brilliant, says Gordon. Then good stuff indeed. And heading into the chicane then for Astra John, then into that heavy braking zone once again, then making sure you negotiate that exit then of the right hander of the final turn then of that chicane very nicely indeed, then to maximise your pace. Then down this next straight then with some more DRS then into sector 3. And what time are we doing then? 6 tenths of a second improvement. Then that's going to be fantastic stuff indeed then to improve, if he can hold all that together then into sector 3, or can he improve even more then for Astra John then in sector 3 as well, then flying through then into the hotel complex, then into the right hander, then making sure you get the exit very nicely indeed, so you can line up the move then through these double left handers then into the Latifi corner, which thankfully he has avoided the wall at, and has gone through into the penultimate corner now as well then. And this is it, this is the final time then, this is the final lap then for Astrodron then here in this qualifying session. It's 23.5, then puts himself P13, but ahead of his teammate then, and ahead of Mr. Elite as well. Cracking stuff indeed then. I think that's him done and dusted. Then here comes Beast. Beast is flying by 3.5 tenths over his previous time then into sector 2. Then that will put him on pole position then, if he can keep up the momentum then heading into this hotel section then of sector 3. There's a car going through there a bit further on there, but I think they're just finishing off their outlap then, so hopefully we'll be out of the way then as this Mercedes flies through then into the penultimate corner, now flying into that final corner then, the right hander flicking it in, and now into the right hander of the final corner then, finishing off the qualifying for Beast then. Where is he going to go? It's pole position for Beast then, a 22.269, and that is almost 0.4 of a second ahead of Mumford as it stands in. Mumford is going to be back out on track then to look to improve as well then, but Beast then is back on pole position then, back where we're familiar with seeing him as well then, after quite a few pole positions throughout the season as well then for his championship crowning season here as well. Good stuff indeed. Fantastic. Right then, who we got next to cross the line? And RTB is just finishing off an out lap. Then where's the McLarens? Then McLaren of Muta then is coming through the final corner then to finish off a lap. Is he, or is he starting off a lap? Then I'm not quite sure. He has finished off a lap then. I think that's him done and dusted. Then he's improved by 17 tenths of a second. Then Mr. Elite then has started off a lap here as well. Then so Mr. Elite then going again for the final time. Then I don't think Kamara Racer is going to make it to the start-finish line. Then he's into the pits then. So unfortunately for Kamara Racer, then P6 at best then here in this qualifying session. Then Sweet P's jumped up to P9. We've got a Red Bull then of Lewis Riley up into P8 then as well. Then there's an Alpine behind us of I think that was, no, it wasn't far, it was somebody else. There's an Alpine of Mumford then. Mumford's improved to 22.4 then, but it's not enough for pole position then. The title rivals, of course, then battled then so early on in the season for wins and pole positions then between the two of them. Then both of them on the front row of the grid then, Beast and Mumford once again then from the first race of the season then to the last race of the season then. Oh dear, Moranov then has displaced Mumford, never mind, ignore me. Moranov then onto the front row of the grid then at 22.4 for him then, puts himself onto into P2 I should say then. Kiki up into P2 though, but Kiki up into P2 then displaces the Red Bull then off the front row. Then Kiki has locked out the front row as it stands for Mercedes. Then P2 for him. Muta's invalidated his time then, unfortunately not going to be able to improve. Then where's Jay Hings? Jay Hings P5 then for the Aston Martin driver. Then fantastic. Let's have a look and see who's going to be next across the line. Then Vanquish P9 down to P10 as Mumford. No, it's not Mumford, it's Reflection who's jumped up to P5. Fantastic from Reflection and his best qualifying I think of the season so far in the final race of the season as well. P5 for Reflection. Then that is looking pretty good stuff indeed then for the Williams driver. Then fantastic stuff indeed for Reflection as well here. And really well done indeed actually for Reflection then, his best qualifying of the season so far then, and in the final race of the season as well then for Reflection. Then fantastic. There we go then, I think that's it, done and dusted. Then qualifying is finished here in the Abu Dhabi for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Then Mercedes 1-2 then locking out the front row of the grid. Then Beast then, as he's familiar with, then on pole position here, and there we go then Kiki then P2. Then fantastic result then for the qualifying, that is in the for the Mercedes team. Of course we will run through the classifications very shortly indeed then, as we get ourselves all sorted then and finishing off this qualifying session. Well, that cat felt horrible, says Gordo. A car, I think he meant is what he's put in the comment section. So yes, there we are then. I'm not sure where Gordo qualified, but we'll find out in a minute. We will see now then. There is the classification then for qualifying. Then Beast P1, then Kiki P2, then Moranov P3, Mumford P4, Reflection then P5, then Jay Hings P6, Muta P7, Tory then P8, then Kamara Racer P9, Vanquish P10, Lewis Riley just outside the top 10 in P11, then Swindler P12, then R2B P13, Gordo P14, Vessia P15, Astrojon then P16, Justified P17, Mr. Elite P18, and unfortunately Farf and MHD didn't get a lap in on the board. So we'll quickly run through our lovely sponsors adverts, and we'll get back to you then with the action then for the start of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Right then, we are just about to get underway then for 29 laps of action then. 29 laps then to finish off Season 8 then of Silver and this will be that then for the final time then in 2024 for the silver grid. That is, we'll wait and see then what is going to be coming up then, what is going to be unfolding in front of our very eyes then very soon, as we just get ourselves underway for the formation lap here then, where we've got majority on the medium compound tyre. We've only got 4 drivers then opting for a different starting tyre, that is, and that is Favre then P19 on the hard compound tyre. Then we've also got R2B then on the hards in P13 for the Ferrari, that is. SG then in the Haas then is on the hard compound tyres, P8 for him then, and Jay Higgs, who's just ahead of him then on the starting grid, then P6 then is also on the hard compound tyres. Everybody else has opted for the medium compound tyres, so that is that sorted in terms of the strategy then. We will come back to that one then. In terms of pole positions then, that is Beast's 11th pole position then of the season then. 11 pole positions in 24 rounds, that's pretty impressive stuff indeed. He's also got 11 wins then in 24 races as it stands as well. Then there could be a 12th win potentially on the cards here for him tonight, I should say. We will find out very shortly then. 18 podiums as well then for Beast. Then can he make it 19 here as well? Then I think that'll be a record equaling, if not a record beating season then for Beast then, if he can clinch that as well tonight. We'll find out then very shortly then. Looks a bit grey and overcast then here in Abu Dhabi then, so maybe there's some rain on the forecast here as well then tonight. Just after Wednesday's 100% race, I think we might see some more then here in the Silvers race as well then. It looks like as it stands then it's very, very gloomy overhead then, as we get ourselves ready to start off this Grand Prix here tonight then to finish off the season. We'll get ourselves lined up on the grid then to start off 29 laps of action here in Abu Dhabi. Then the final race of the Silver Season 8 season, that is, if you can get me words out. If I can get me words out even, that'd be good. But now we go lining up the grid then for the final time then in this calendar year, that is. And finally then we get ourselves onto the grid then to get ourselves started for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Here we go then, the 5 red lights are on here in Abu Dhabi, the 5 red lights are out here in Abu Dhabi, and away we go for the final race of the season. Then a good start then from Kiki, looking to try and get himself ahead. Then Moranov has been passed by Mumford into turn 1, down the inside goes the Alpine, he's got himself through then up into the top 3 already then. Good stuff indeed. We'll have a look at the position changes as we go through into the first lap. Then Reflection hold station then just about. Then Moranov has lost a place as P&P's got himself past Lewis Riley into P11 as well. Then good start indeed then from the top of the field. Then they've all stayed status quo. There's yellow flags in the background though. There's a problem then for a Mr. Elite. There's a virtual safety car, and the virtual safety car has been released then already then, as we've got a problem then down the back of the field then for Justify, who's had an issue. Then he's lost a wing then, and Vanquish has also had a problem. He's lost out 2 places there as well under the VSC somehow as well. Goodness me, I'm not sure what is going on there as well. Then Justify and Mr. Elite then have come together, and Astrodron has passed Gordo as well somewhere, so that's odd stuff indeed. Not quite sure, you're not meant to overtake then under VSCs and that sort of thing, so there we go. But yes, fantastic stuff indeed there as well. Mr. Elite then is, I think, was involved in that as well. Then he has lost his front wing. Then has Mr. Elite then a very difficult start. Then it seems for 3 of the drivers. Then Justify has also lost front wing. Then as has MHD. So the 3 of them at the back of the field. Unfortunately, the cause of that VSC has that's what the VSC has been brought out for. I should say. Then the cause of that VSC. Then that is what they've got the damage for as well. Then my goodness me, it must have been a bit of a shunt then for all 3 of them to be caught up in it that extensively as well. Then, but out in front, like I said, the majority of the field then stayed status quo. Then yellow flag has been released. Then we're back underway then already then before the end of lap 1. And a quick restart then from Beast. Then he has gone straight away. Then Mumford then trying to put the pressure on Kiki as well for that P2 position. Then the Alpines and the Mercedes, of course, have been fighting tooth and nail then for the Constructors' Championship then into this, or not into this round. Then there's been done and dusted then for Mercedes then in the last couple of rounds then. But Mumford then is still looking to fight. Then Mr. Elite is into the pit lane now. He's recovered himself back to the pit stops. Then Justify as well. Then as is MHD, as we get ourselves into the next lap, then into the second lap of the Grand Prix here. And hopefully they can get themselves sorted, then filter back out then and get themselves back underway then as quickly as possible, that is. And there we go, then heading down towards the I think DRS is already available now, isn't it? Yes, it is now. Keychi's got himself in the race lead, then he's passing Beast and his teammate up into P1, then into the chicane then, and he's got himself through then up into P1, into the race lead then for Keychi. Fantastic stuff indeed then. Mumford then holds on to P3 then for the time being. Moranov trying to fight back then. We've got Reflection, Tori then, and Muta then in close proximity, as is Kamara Racer, Jay Hings. More yellow flags then. More yellow flags. It's for Gordo. Gordo's had an issue then at the chicane. And I think, I don't know if Astrodron was involved in that or not then, but Gordo and Astrodron then are off the back of the queue. Then as Kiki's had an issue, Kiki's had a problem then. Where is Kiki? He has dropped down the field, then he's off the circuit there, and unfortunately for Kiki, then he's struggling to get himself back underway. Oh my goodness me, there's Favre trying to dive down the inside, then into the hotel section as well, then he's got himself through. My God, then Kiki's had an issue somewhere, then unfortunately dropped down to P14, then he's had a big problem then, has Kiki, and unfortunately Kiki's season then has been blighted by issues like that, spins like that, though, and he just can't keep control of the car, unfortunately then, so big shame indeed. Hopefully he can get himself back in this race, then we'll hopefully find out later on then in this Grand Prix then if he can find his way back through. Undrivable, says Gordon then, unfortunately. So Gordon's into the pit lane, then he hasn't got himself, I don't think he's got wing damage, has he? I'm not quite sure. He's into the pits anyway, unfortunately for Gordon then, so he's going to have to try and sort something out then. Beast then leads the way then after Kiki did claim the lead then, but unfortunately lost out then into sector 3. More yellow flags, it's from Mr. Elite this time. Mr. Elite's had an issue then at the Latifi corner. There's more yellow flags as Beast has lost the lead to Mumford, then Mumford up into P1 now from P3 on the grid then. Fantastic stuff indeed then, a good start then from Mumford, but there's all sorts of chopping and changing in the background then. And Mr. Elite is back in the pit lane, and my goodness me, Mr. Elite's got a 3-second penalty then. I think that might have been a pit lane entry warning, which of course we do encourage drivers to get them reported, and we can remove those penalties as well then, because of course there's a pit lane glitch then, at the pit lane entry glitch of course, which we did warn the drivers of Gold about, but thankfully I think everybody avoided it in Gold, and they made sure that they didn't cross that line then when they went into the pits during the race, and didn't get themselves any 3-second penalties, which is good stuff indeed. Well, there wasn't any reported anyway, so that's good. Right then, Beast then has lost the lead. Mumford then has charged on from P4 then, P4 then up to P1, sorry, I should say, then in the first 3 laps. Fantastic stuff indeed from Mumford then, heading into turn 1 now. Beast then is still waiting in proximity there. Moranov and Reflection's up into P4 now. Reflection could be on for a fantastic result here as well. The Justify and MHD are battling then through the hairpin of sector 3, and MHD is looking to get himself round the outside then, which turns to the inside then into sector 3 then for the for the Haas. Oh my God, he's gone deep there as well then, and that's not going to be helpful for his next few corners as well then, heading into the hotel complex. But I think he's got himself through then in the race lead. Then Mumford and Beast then challenging each other then for the race lead as well, then heading into the chicane once again then, and Mumford has lost out this time. It's roles reversed then as Mumford then drops down to P2, then Beast up into P1 once again, then heading on to lap 4 then. Fantastic stuff indeed then, so far so good then for the top 4. There they are then, all flying through into sector 3 very shortly. They've got a gap now of 2 seconds to Tori, who is in P5 then. Lewis Wiley and Sweet P then battling then for P10 then into the final points paying position goes the Red Bull driver then onto lap 4 then into sector 3, and Vessia then is right in this fight as well then. We've had quite a few chopping and changes then. R2B has lost out then to a couple of places then off the start then, but unfortunately then he's not going to recover then, getting himself back in the DRS then of the cars ahead. Astrodron as well struggling as well then. Gordo's struggling out there. Goodness me, Gordo's really struggling out there as well then on the hard compound tyres. Justify has repassed MHD into the chicane here as well then, and now onto the back straight then. I think MHD is going to go powering past then with some DRS assistance as well then, heading into the third sector then as we go side by side then. I think Justify is burning all the battery he can then to try and hold on to the place then, but not quite then for Justify then. The DRS is too powerful, I should say, then he's got himself past has the Haas driver then. Good stuff indeed. Right then, out in front then, it's almost a four-horse train as it stands in, going on to the back straight here then. There's going to be some DRS then for everybody heading down towards towards turn 6 and 7 then. This is where the chicane gets a bit spicy in the middle of this straight, isn't it? So it can definitely cause a few issues like we saw in the 100% racing, but everyone has filtered through there very well indeed, and it looks like good stuff indeed. This chopping and changing will go on for a while, says Mushroom. Then says so Mushroom then thinks, I think the race lead will be chopping and changing then for quite a while then, but Beast has held on then into sector 3 on lap 5. Vessia has got himself past then Muta and Tori then switching places then into sector 3 as well then, momentarily that is, but I think the Haas has held on to P5 for the time being. Then Vessia has passed Sweet and P then into sector 3. Goodness me, he's going down the inside of Lewis Riley then into the hotel section, and I think he's just about made it stick. Yes, he has done. Good stuff indeed. And there we go, then Ferrari up into P10 then, brilliant stuff. Farf then is in a bit of a battle then with Keegan, and he's joined up to the fight then with the top 12. R2 beat is 2 seconds off, unfortunately. Then we've got Vanquish and Vessia then battling through the final corner, and Vanquish is into the wall, and I'm not quite sure what happened there, but Vessia didn't seem to be, I don't think that was a prime overtaking position, let's just say that, for as Vanquish then is Vanquish has dropped down to P16 then, trying to get himself back underway. Then he's got wing damage there as well then, has Vanquish, so unfortunately he is not having a good time out there as well then, heading through the first couple of corners. Then he's gone very wide there as well then, so I think he's going to have to come back to the pit lane and sort that front wing out as quickly as possible. Then Jay Hings has got himself past Kamara Racer then up one place, then Jay Hings down the place, then we're trying to regain his places from the race start, that is, and heading into the chicane of turn 6 and 7 now as well then. Right behind us then we've got this battling pack, then we've got an Alpine, then it was very wide out there, then looking to cut back into the queue then, right in front of Farf then as well. And so far so good then. Out in front then once again Mumford switches places with Beast then, just like Mumford was saying, Mushroom was saying, sorry, there's too many M's. Then there's Tory, and oh dear, he's clipped the front of the McLaren there, I think, but Muta's done a good job of recovering quickly enough then to hold on to the place at least. Yeah, I think there was a bit of contact there between the Haas and the McLaren then on the exit of that corner, just going around there side by side. It sometimes does not work, does it? But thankfully they got themselves all sorted and back underway, and there we go then, out in the race lead then Mumford and the Beast switching places. And as we saw, as Mushroom has said then in the comment section as well, then Kiki's got himself past Vessia, has he? Yes, he has now. Oh no, he hasn't then, as Vessia's gone back through then. I'm not quite sure what Vessia is up to here, to be fair, because he seemed to have a bit of a problem with Vanquish here as well then, going through that final couple of corners as well. Then into the pits comes Vanquish as well. He would have got a warning for that, because he went over the line on the right hand side on the inside then, but he's into the pits now to get himself sorted and onto a new set of boots and a new front wing as well then. Gorda then trying to soldier on in this race as well. Gorda's had to pit then for a new wing change as well, as has MHD, Justify and Mr. Elite then. Unfortunately Mr. Elite, I think he's had to pit twice unfortunately for him, for a new front wing then, but he's back underway then. Vanquish then is onto a new front wing as well, then onto the hard compound tyres, and away he goes in the Racing Bull. The other Racing Bull then is switching places with Lewis Riley then, up into P9 then for Farf. I thought we had some more chopping and changing there as well then, but no, I think we're all sorted. Muta and Tori then once again, these two switching places as well. Then we've got Jay Hings invited to this battle as well here, and Jay Hings is looking to fight then, where is the fight going on then? Jay Hings has got himself up into P5 then, passing both of them down the second DRS straight as well then. Fantastic stuff indeed then. We saw on board then with Kamara Racing then in P8 then, he's right behind this battling pack then, and the two of the reserves then battling in the McLaren and the Haas then are just open the door then for Jay Hings to go through. And Kamara Racer is now still stuck behind, and Farf is right behind as well then in P9, then Lewis Riley then P10 for the time being. Fantastic stuff indeed. The first 8 laps have been, well, first 7 laps have been pretty good stuff indeed. Unfortunately, not so much for the bottom four then at this stage. We've got yellow flags then. It's for Vessia this time at the final corner, then same place as where him and Vanquish went off and had an issue. Vanquish is now involved in the fight with Gordo and MHD as well here, but Vessia then has recovered the car then. He's got wing damage, very severe wing damage. I think both end plates are missing then on that Ferrari, so he will have to come into the pit lane and sort that front wing out as quickly as possible then. But I don't think there was anybody giving him a helping hand on that occasion, and I think Vanquish was not in sight on that one. Oh dear, as we go very late on the brakes then for Beast, then almost into the back of Mumford as well then, and Moranov then had to react quite quickly indeed as well. Then Reflection now in P4 then is in a fantastic position here. He is 4.5 seconds ahead of Jay Hings in P5 then. Reflection could be on for a fantastic result if it all stays this way then, because there's still quite a few laps to go here in Abu Dhabi tonight then. Justify picks up another penalty. Unfortunately for penalties, it's going to be Mr. Elite and Justify at the moment, with the only penalties on the field as it stands. Lefavre got himself over into P8 then, passing Kamara Racer then down to P9 then, where he started the race then only 8 laps ago. What's best, hard to med or med to hard? It depends where you start, really. So I would imagine... Oh dear, we've had a problem then. Gordo's had a problem, I think, then. Oh dear, no he hasn't. Maybe it's his transponder acting up then. He's been passed by Vanquish, and he's been passed, I think, almost passed by MHD as well here. But my goodness me, then that Aston Martin is not having a good time out there, unfortunately, tonight then. Hopefully he can get it all sorted then in the next few laps or so then. But yeah, Justify's gone through as well then into P18 as well here. But yeah, unfortunately for Gordon not having a good time out there. As it stands then, we'll have a look. I haven't even switched on to the tyre situation just yet then. We've only done 8 laps already. So it's been pretty quick then. Vessi is in the pit lane now and has got himself sorted then to get himself into the pit for a new front wing then at least. And a new set of boots as well on that Ferrari car. Then hard compound tyres going on the red car, and away he will go there. But I think he'll come out behind Vanquish, he'll come out behind MHD and Justify and Gordo as well then potentially. Then there is that Ferrari then getting serviced in the pit lane then, as Kiki's got himself back past into P11 then passing 300p there, but he's now 2.7 seconds away then from the top 10. Vessia, they're coming out the pit lane now, will be behind Gordo as well then, unfortunately for Vessia, then dropping down the field quite substantially then as well. Top 4 checking out, says Mushroom as well in the comments section. Yes, they are. Moods has got himself up into P5, passing Jay Hings then into Sector 3. Oh, and there's a Haas of Tory as well involved in that battle as well. Then goodness me, they're almost making contact there, but that was very close indeed. And into Sector 3, and where is Farf? Farf has had an issue then as well. Farf, Kamara Racer as well was involved, and my goodness me, there's all sorts of action. There's cars all over the track then, and yeah, to be honest, I thought Farf was going to be a bit too late then, and he has lost time then to Jay Hings, and I think Farf went into the back of the Aston Martin, and that caused the contact then, the concertina effect then with the Williams of Kamara Racer as well. Then Lewis Riley is into the pit lane then, and unfortunately for Lewis Riley then, he is sorting out his front wing then, same for Kamara Racer I believe as well then, as we get ourselves onto, probably not a bad time to stop anyway, to be fair, for those on the medium compound tyres, but yeah, unfortunately then, it's not ideal then for either driver then having to get themselves a front wing change as well then. And back underway then, Vanquish picks up a penalty then going through into Sector 3 then, and that's his second penalty. I think he got a warning then for it's his first penalty, sorry, but I think he got a warning then coming into the pit lane. We saw him coming into the pit lane to sort out his front wing, and I think that's where he had his issue then. Tory then up into P5 then, as these three battle on with Jay Hings involved in the McLaren and Haas fight as well then. These three battling on then is going to help the top 4 then extend their gap to the rest of the field I think as well then, which is going to be fantastic news for those who are in the top 4. Not so much for the rest of the field trying to catch up then as it stands, as Muta and oh god, and there's contact then, and the Haas has gone around then, and Jay Hings has thankfully gone through him, but Muta then has had a bit of a spin then, and I think there was the same thing as what happened before then, where he made contact then with, oh my god, he made contact I should say then with the McLaren, and the McLaren then came off worse then. This time it's roles reversed then, and both of them have come together then into Sector 3. MHD has got himself past Vanquish then into Sector 3 as well then, and I think Justify's going to go for a move as well then into the final hairpin as well then of the lap then of Sector 2. Then he's got himself through and up into P16 then, good stuff indeed. Out in front then, like I said, the gap between the top 4 then and the rest of the field then is only 5.7 seconds as it stands. Then Astrojon is in the pit. Astrojon is calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres. I think this is a scheduled stop then for Astrojon then, which is probably a pretty good decision to be fair. I think he'll come out with a bit of clean air then. I think I would imagine. I'm not quite sure that he might be in a bit of a battle then with MHD. We'll find out though as we get ourselves down the order and out of the pit lane now. He could be out just ahead then of MHD. We'll find out then quickly. He needs to get himself sorted out of this underground carriage then and onto the track as quickly as possible then. But unfortunately, I think he's going to be behind the Haas then of MHD. Then this could be very problematic then for the. Oh dear, yeah, he is out behind MHD, but of course on the fresher tyres now as well. Then potentially he can use those fresh tyres to his advantage then as well. Then Muta and Jay Hings then switching places then up into P5. Then goes the McLaren heading into Sector 3 now as well. Then we'll come back to that. We'll come and see what Astrojon is up to then, heading down the back straight then, trying to get himself back past MHD, who's done a 9 laps longer on his stint then on the hard compound tyres already. And oh dear, I thought he just about slowed it down then, did Astrojon then, good stuff indeed. But he's opened the door then to potentially getting himself repassed then by the Haas, then heading down the second straight then into Sector 3 now. We'll find out about that later on then. Soft compound tyres going on for Gordo. Ultimate Beast is in the pit lane, as is Moranov as well then, so they're calling it a day then on the medium compound tyres. Then Hard's going on then for both the Mercedes and the Red Bull cars, and they head back down the pit lane. They will come out in a lot of fresh air as well actually, because they will be behind R2 Beat then. Vanquish picks up another penalty unfortunately for Vanquish. but they'll be behind R2 Beat then, but they'll be very, very well, very well in a very bit of nice clean air then as well. Heading out of the pit lane then goes Beast, and he's somehow got a nice gap then to Moranov of over 2 seconds in that pit stop phase. But there we are then. Jay Hings has passed Muta then for P3, then heading down the back straight and into the chicane of turn 6 and 7 then. He's got the move done. Oh my god, then the McLaren very late on the brakes then, overly keen on, I think, to try and get himself back past then, and that's going to compromise his exit here onto the next straight then, and could leave Jay Hings free to scamper off into the distance as well then on the hard compound tyres. And Jay Hings, of course, the highest runner who started the race then on the hard compound. Beast then has got 4 seconds to try and catch up, then Gordo set the fastest lap of the race then. Good stuff from Gordo. Astrodron has got himself back ahead of MHD, but this is where the fight's going to be carrying back at, and then here we go then down the back straight. Then Vanquish is looking to get himself involved as well here, and heading into the chicane. Then he's got the outside there. Oh, there's a lock up then for the Haas of MHD as we go through the chicane now as well. Then heading on to the exit. Then now the Racing Bull is ahead of the Haas, heading on to the back straight then, but now MHD kind of try and power back through then. Farf is in the... No, so Muta is in the pit lane. 3 seconds for Kiki then, who's got a penalty for getting himself into the pits as well. Then there's all sorts of action going on the top of the order, but we want to see this battle then. Astrodron has held on to P14 and is going to scamper away now as well then. Hard compound tyres going on for Kiki. The same then for Mumford. Reflection as well then, and Muta then, who have all pitted from the mediums to the hards now. Where will they filter out is the question. Beast has got himself a commanding undercut then. Look at that then. Beast is absolutely flying out there then. He has flown through the field. He's got a 2.7 second gap then to Mumford. And of course they were in a bit of a battle then as well. Then Reflection comes out then 1.4 seconds behind Moranov. And my god, what has happened then? Beast is literally checked out. And that's quite interesting stuff indeed. I'm not quite sure how that's happened then, because Beast was in the fight then, wasn't he? Thunder has said, let's go Muta as well. Then Team Maran, MXD and Muta then. Hi Alex from Thunder as well. I've been appealing the decision about Farf's win last week then, says Ginger Agent. Unfortunately, we haven't seen your appeal in formal complaint then, unfortunately, so we can't do anything about it. Geeky's got himself past Kamara Racing then for P11 here. Good man, says Mushroom then. If I can't win on track, I'll win in the stewards from says Ginger Age. Fantastic stuff indeed then. And Moranov is back past then into P7, then passing Mumford, of course. The top 5 have not pitted in this race so far, so they will be due a pit stop very soon, I imagine. Then Sweden, especially then on the medium compound tyres, so we'll have to wait to see then. Go on MHD then, you can do it man, let's go, says Thunder as well then, supporting the Haas driver of course. Oh my god, and Beast has gone swooping around then. I think he knew, maybe, or potentially he knew that 300 people was coming into the pit lane at the end of this lap anyway, but he is into the pit lane now to call it a day on the medium compound tyres. Kamara Race has got a 3 second penalty then for his troubles as well then. Penalty starting to rack up around here as well then tonight then, especially through sector 3. Goodness me, Kiki's gone very wide then. Where's he gone? And Gordo's had an issue, I think. Has Gordo had an issue? Yes, he has. Then he's off the circuit. Then he's had problems. Then hope he got himself back underway then quickly enough. Then Sweden P's got himself out of the pit lane. Then he's P13 at the moment. He will be ahead of MHD. Oh dear, not if he does that then. Going through under the pit exit. That was a very, very slow pit exit then from 300p then. Unfortunately, that could cost him. But I think he's got himself out just ahead then. He's got himself out with enough of a gap then to stay out of DRS as well then, of the pack behind then. Farf and Jay Hings are fighting then. So is Tori then, as we got ourselves through then. Beast has got himself a 5 second gap then to the top of the order. Once again, that is. Of course, he led the race then before the pit stop phase. And now, of course, is looking to get himself back through then in this race as well. Then R2 Beat then is right behind him then, but is being passed then by the Mercedes driver. Then Astrodron has passed Vanquish then, oh dear, into the chicane once again then as we go through. And now can he try and get himself past MHD as well then? Of course, MHD and Vanquish are on older tyres compared to the Kick Sauber. Then can he get himself through? Then can he scamper away afterwards is the question. Astrodron going for the outside here into sector 3. Then he's got the move done. Then he's up into P14. And now, can he try and get himself away through the hotel section? And all those hard compound tyres on MHD's Haas then are not looking too shabby at this stage though, even though they're 12 laps old then, but they're not at the end of their life cycle just yet then by any means, so that's good news indeed. Then on to lap 15 we go then, flying through. Then there's still 4 drivers at the top of the order yet to pit then. MHD might have to come into the pits as well later on then, as will Justify potentially, and Mr. Elite then. Unfortunately Mr. Elite then, his final race of the season then is not going his way then, but I think he'll be looking forward to potentially joining somebody we know very well then in the comment section in bronze next season. Then we'll have to wait and see then. Moranov then up into P5 P5 then passing R2B, then Mumford going through as well then into the chicane. Can he get himself past the both of them? Not quite then. He stays behind the Rebel, but he's past the red Ferrari, I should say, up into P6 now. And now can he pass the Red Bull? This is the next question. Then Favre takes the lead of the Grand Prix then into P1, then passing Jay Hings. Mumford has got himself past Moranov, then up into P5 now. He's got a 3-second gap then to Ultimate Beast then, who's going to be joining up to the back of the pack here at the lead pack, I should say. Then there's Astrodron and MHD are fighting tooth and nail then into the hairpin. That's going to be contact then, and Mumford's got a penalty. But Astrodron's gone for a spin then, and Justify's gone through as well then. My goodness me. And unfortunately, all day it was Gordo's had a problem then into it's turn 2, exit of turn 1, that is. Very far away along as well then for Gordo. Then I'm not quite sure. Oh god, then he's into the wall then is Gordo. And Mumford has set the fastest lap of the race, and hopefully Gordo can get himself sorted, because he's causing a few problems out there for other drivers as well then. That's a bit odd, that one. R2B into the pit lane now. He's calling it a day on the hard compound tyres, so he started on the hard compound tyres, going for the medium compound now for the Ferrari. And he will come out then in a bit of a battle, I think, then with Sweet 100p then potentially. Then will come out very shortly now, and it's going to be quite a fight then for R2B to try and get himself out ahead of the Racing Bull then of Vanquish. We'll find out in just a jiffy. Then out of the pit lane he comes then. Where is he going to be then? He's going to be right behind his rival in the Alpine of Sweet 100p then, but clear of the rest of the field behind us as well. Vanquish has had an issue at the exit of turn 1, just as well as Gordo, just the same as Gordo then, unfortunately then. Oh dear, and he's gone round again then, has Vanquish, trying to get himself corrected then in this race then, but unfortunately then it's just not going his way then tonight then for Vanquish. Then Favre has got himself past Jay Hings then up into P1 once again. Then these two carrying on their fight and then carrying on the stint then on the hard compound tyres. Who's joining who? Says Mushroom. Then no questions asked, no comments held, or whatever you want to say. That I don't know what you want to call it. There we go. That's that done. Sorted then. Good stuff. Both the kicks out was having a bit of a battle. Then Astrodron is back past then into P15. Then he's got quite a gap then to try and catch up. There's more yellow flags for Justify. He's had an issue then, has he? Or no? He's been passed by Vessia there. Not quite sure what happened there as well. Then Beast has got himself past Tory then into P3 round the outside at turn 1 then. Goodness me, that was close indeed, but I think he's got the extra traction, extra grip and extra speed then on those hard compound, or fresher hard compound tyres. More yellow flags fluttering, I think, for Gordo this time. No, is it for Gordo? I think it's for Gordo. Yeah, unfortunately for Gordo, he's struggling then. I'm not quite sure what's happening then for the Aston Martin driver then, but hopefully he can just crack on then to the end of the race then and finish off the season on a finish off the season at least. Ultimate Beast has got himself past Jay Hings then, and now can he get himself past Favre is his next target then as well. Then heading into the chicane, late braking then from the Racing Bull ahead of him, but Beast I think wanted to stay behind for the extra DRS then down this next straight as well. Then heading on to the final straight of sector 2 with some DRS. Then Beast has got himself past then up into P1, back up into P1 I should say. Then Jay Hings trying to fight back then, but he cannot get himself past Favre. Then he stays P3 for the time being. Then Beast back up into the race lead as well here. Mumford has picked up a penalty then. I didn't see that. Maybe I did even, but I completely missed it because I was looking at something else then. But into the pits comes Vanquish and Gordo as well then. Yes, Mumford has got a penalty then. He's picked up somewhere as well then. So that is going to be bad news indeed then. Heading into the Latifi corner then, as Mumford then going through then into the penultimate corner as well now. And let's see what Mumford can do then in this next stint as well. Then Jay Hings, no, it's Favre. Favre's in the pit lane, and Favre calling it a day then on the hard compound tyres. Then he's into the box now. Jay Hings and Tory then are carrying on then on their hard compound tyres. Favre then trying to go for the undercut then on those two then to try and get themselves ahead after the pit stop phase. There we go then. Reflection is 5 seconds off now, unfortunately for Reflection. Then the good start then has not come to fruition then after the pit stops then. Mumford has got himself past Tory then or has he? There's contact then. Tory's then gone for a spin then as well. Then my goodness me, then Moranov then up into P4 then as Tory then has had an issue somewhere, or had an issue with Mumford it looks like then. Heading on to the back straight then there's a McLaren there as well then. There's that. No, it's not Muta then. That must be Mistral Elite has been lapped then, unfortunately, for Mistral Elite then. Jay Hings, sorry, Justify's in the pits as well then. So what's it going to be for Justify then? Potentially mediums or hards then to the end of the Grand Prix from here then. Mumford then lining up a move on Jay Hings next then into sector 3 then. Can he get himself past the Aston Martin then into the braking zone? Yes he can then. On the fresher tyres he can brake later, and he's got himself up into P2, or back up into P2 then after the pit stop phase then, as we got it's Mr. Elite then, unfortunately that McLaren there. Jay Hings and Moranov then are in a bit of a ding dong battle as well then, but Jay Hings of course yet to stop then. He might look to stop then at the end end of this lap, so Moranov might be released then at the end of this in the next couple of corners, that is. Heading through, then we go there, and Jay Hings is peeling off into the pit lane now, and he has gone over the curb and got himself a warning then as well. So that's yes, fantastic. And Tori is coming as well. Good stuff indeed. So Tori then calling it a day then on his hard combat tyres also. So I think apart from the unscheduled stops at the beginning of the race, then I think everyone has now made their scheduled stop at least. So that is that then for those who have made their scheduled stops then to the end of the Grand Prix from here. Jay Hings then coming out of the pit lane will be in P10 then behind Farf. So Farf has got an undercut here and has got himself, oh, we've got a Ferrari then having an issue. Then is Vessier having an issue then. Vessier's had an issue then in Sector 3, it looks like. And just trying to get that car corrected and moving again then. He has got himself sorted, I think. Yes, he has. Back underway. Justify picked up a penalty there. I thought it was somebody else then having an issue. But no, it's all good then. Not lap 19 then of 29 then. We're flying through these laps then. Vessier is in the pit lane now and is calling it a day then on his hard compound tyres. I think he's going to have to get a new front wing as well, potentially after a bit of damage with the wall then. We'll find out then. Got a puncture, says Gordo then. Softs are bad, says softs are bad. Gordo says so it's mushroom, sorry. Goodness me, got too many names. Yes, softs are bad, says Gordo. Says mushroom, sorry, around here this track. He was telling Gordo that the softs are bad. Finally, I got there in the end. Very sorry about that. But there we are then. Farf then is all over the back of Lewis Riley. Then he's on the fresh medium compound tyres. Then is Farf. Then Vessier is on the soft compound tyres as well. And he's gone on the softs maybe to the end of the race. I'm not quite sure if they're, like Mushroom has said, they're not the best tyre, especially around here as well then. But we'll wait and see. Then Gordo got a puncture. Then he's gone to a set of medium compound tyres now then. Farf then has passed Lewis Riley then into P8 now as well here. And now more yellow flags again then, goodness me. I think that might be just for a lapped car getting out of the way, hopefully. We didn't see any position changes or anything like that, so I think everyone is A-OK. Moranov has lost out to the DRS then of Mumford. Then Mumford is on a charge here to try and get himself a 3-second gap then, I think, unfortunately for Mumford, unless Beast has an issue somewhere. But unfortunately for Mumford, then P2 is the best he can get then on the cards tonight then, but we'll wait and see as we go through then into Sector 2 then. We're on lap 20 then of 29 then. We're flying through this race, to be fair. It's been brilliant stuff indeed for the majority of the field, and I need to go to bed early as well. Sean said he was going to go to bed early tonight, so I want to go and join him very much soon later on. Where have we got more yellow flags then? It's a Racing Bull then. Vanquish. It's Vanquish again then at Sector 3 then. Goodness me, Vanquish having another issue there, unfortunately for Vanquish, and it's not been his race tonight then, and he has dropped down the field once again then behind the two Kick Saubers and Mr. Elite as well here, now into Sector 3 then. This is where it's going to get even more spicy indeed for Vanquish, because those hot tyres then are not going to be his favourite then, or not going to be their favourite then, going through that sort of sector then in these conditions. And into the pits he comes now, does Vanquish and to get himself out of the way then. Unfortunately for Vanquish, and it's just not gone his way tonight then, as he gets himself into Gordo's had a very big issue then through the hairpin. But he got himself sorted, thankfully. 2 seconds to gap then from Mumford over Moranov then. If he can get that gap to over 3 seconds, I think. Yeah, 3 seconds. There's the penalty situation. Then we'll have a look at the penalties then for the time being. If you can get that gap over 3 seconds to Moranov, then he can still hold on to that P2 after they cross the finish line and hold on to a fantastic result still as well. Then Reflection is holding on to P4 for the time being, but he might be under pressure from Muta then in the next few laps or so. Then we'll have to wait and see then. Kiki's got 3 seconds, so has Kamara Racer, then so has Lewis Riley, so has Sweet and P then, and 6 for Justify, then 3 for Mr. Elite, then 6 for Vanquish, and 3 for Gordo then, but they're still plugging away in this race then, thankfully, and credit to them for keeping going then in this race then, even if their races have not been what they wanted here tonight then as well then. So fair play indeed then to the likes of Gordo, Vanquish, Mr. Elite and Vessier, and to Justify as well then, who have got themselves back underway in this race as well. Then they've done a good job then of just soldiering on then and removing the rust, then removing the dust, and just getting on with it as well here. Beast is getting on with it, and he's got a 2.8 second gap then to Mumford then as it stands then. Mumford trying to eke that gap out to Moranov then as we go through into Sector 3, finishing off lap 20 I should say, then onto lap 21 I should say, then onto lap 22. My goodness me, we're speeding through here. We're going a lap earlier, a lap quicker than what I thought then. Good stuff indeed. Right then, here comes Mumford then, and we've got a few filtering through then into the final couple of corners then. Father's got a 4-second gap to try and catch up with Kamara Racer, then who's done 12 laps on his hard compound tyres. Jay Hings then trying to get himself past Lewis Riley. Then, of course, Jay Hings has got a one lap tyre advantage. Keeky's had an issue then at turn 1, exit turn 1, I should say. He's lost out then to Favre, then he's lost out to Lewis Riley, he's lost out to Jay Hings. And where is Tory then coming around the final couple of corners, first couple of corners? Keeky's got himself back underway then in P10. I don't think he has got wing damage, unfortunately, for Keeky. Then he's got a right end plate damage then as the Mercedes driver, unfortunately, which is a big shame indeed. Vanquish has picked up a penalty as well there, but at least he's still going then in this race. But Keeky then unfortunately became a penalty then tonight, then is not going his way then tonight as well then in this stage, after getting a fantastic result in qualifying. And a 1-2 for Mercedes then. There's always room for you, Alex says. I'm not going to repeat I'm going to say my full name. Ginger Age says. Anyway, and Lucky Sean says mushroom as well then. Fantastic. Yes, unfortunately, maybe not so lucky then if that was the case, but there we are. So there we are then, heading into Mr. Elite has been passed then by Vessia, I think. No, it's not by Vessia, it's by somebody else then, unfortunately. But whatever has happened. There we go then. Lewis Riley then is all over the back of Jay Hings. Then Jay Hings has got himself past, I should say, actually, wrong way around. Tory then is trying to pass Keeky then for P10. Then he's up into the points paying positions now, and on those medium compound tyres has used them to their good effect then at this stage of the stint, at least, to get himself past then up into the points paying positions. Oh dear, that was very close indeed to clouting the Latifi wall. That was going to be very dangerous stuff indeed. Right then, heading through the final couple of corners, then R2 then could be in contention as well on the medium compound tyres, as Keeky's into the pit lane now. Could be in contention just about then to get himself some points as well in the final race of the season. Then Keeky into the pits then. Unfortunately, that wing damage then on the right hand side end plate then has cost him a pit stop as well, and a wing change here. Medium compound tyres going on for the Mercedes driver as well. MHD has gone up to P13, then he's done 21 laps then on his hard compound tyres. Then that's going to be a fantastic stint indeed if he's trying to go to the end of the Grand Prix from here. But who's to say what he can and can't do then? We will find out then. Keeky, medium compound tyres going on, then he's going to be out in P15 with a bit of clean air as well then, so maybe you can use those medium compound tyres to their best effect now as well. Right then. So 2-second gap then for Favre then to get himself into contention with Kamara Racer then. I'm not quite sure if he was going to be able to get himself any further than that though in this next stint. If he does pass Kamara Racer, then unfortunately with a few laps remaining, then we've got yellow flags for a kick sour of Justify at turn 3. Then R2B has been passed by Swin P, then into P11, then goes the Alpine around the hairpin of sector 3 and up into P11, then very nicely done indeed then. Right then, Reflection is actually on a charge here. Reflection could be on a charge for a podium place here, to be fair. This is looking pretty good indeed then for Reflection. There's a Ferrari in there, I think, who's probably giving Reflection a bit of DRS as well then, which is, well, a bit, let's just say it's frowned upon, let's put it that way, but there we go then, that's fair. So anyway, Reflection then is closing in on Moranov actually then, and trying to drop the McLaren of Muta as well here as we go through then into lap 24. Then only 5 laps remaining after this one is completed, and this will be the final 5 laps of 2024 for Silver Season 8 then. It's been absolutely fantastic in this race, just like the whole of the season as well, I have to say then, and thank you very much then to the drivers then who have taken part in this season in Silver then. It's been absolutely fantastic then, race after race then, week after week in this long season as well then, and they've all done a fantastic job as well as putting on a fantastic show week in, week out. Kiki standards, says Mushroom. That's very harsh indeed, I have to say. Hopefully Kiki isn't listening to the stream, but hopefully he's not reading the comments either, to be fair. But there we go, then the Ferrari does get out of the way now. Reflection is in a bit of a fight then. I'm not sure we've had a bit of lag then or not, but hopefully Reflection doesn't have any issues like he did in Abu Dhabi, but on Wednesday that is in the 100% league. But he's currently on the hunt for a podium place here potentially, which would be fantastic indeed for Reflection then if he can grab that here tonight then in the final race of the season. Then lap 25 of 29 has commenced then. 5 laps of racing to go then in this season, then 5 laps of racing to go then in 2024 for Silver as well. Then Justify is onto a new set of medium compound tyres coming out of the pit lane now, and is going to be just ahead of Mr. Elite then as he comes around the turn 3 as well, then heading into turn 4 and now into turn 5 as well. Then driver of the day is out already, but it's a bit early, so we'll come back to that. We'll look at the position changes in just a moment. Then around the hairpin we go then for Reflection, sorry, then heading down onto the back straight then, and he's going to have some DRS then on the Red Bull of Moranov then in front of us here, heading into, he's going for it, I think, then into the chicane then. Is he going for it? No, he's thought better of it then. Pace backs off then at the last point then, heading into the chicane now. Keychains at the fastest lap of the race then, good stuff indeed from Keychains then, who's soldiering on up there. Farf has got himself past Kamara Racer then for P6, then Reflection, then can he fight back into Sector 3 this time then? Here he comes then on the attack then for the Williams, then up into P3 then for Reflection, then fantastic stuff indeed, he's done it. He's into the podium places now. Can he hold on to it is the question now, and can he get himself even more then potentially then? If he can get himself another 3 seconds up the road, he could be able to get himself into Mumford's penalty window as well then. We'll have to wait and see, but very good stuff indeed from Reflection then, heading into lap 26 very shortly then. He's got 4 laps to go then to try and hold on to his to a podium then, and it would be his first podium of the season in the final race. 24 rounds then would be his first podium of the season then for Reflection, if he can hold on to it then. But I don't want to talk too much because I don't want to curse. I'm not going to curse anybody tonight. I don't want to curse anybody tonight. That's that. I'm done with that. R2 Beat and oh dear, what's that then? R2 Beat and Vanquish, I think that is having a bit of an issue. Then Vanquish has unfortunately for Vanquish, he's had another spin then at the Latifi corner, but thankfully as well then has not gone into the wall there and avoided any incident, I think, then with any collision. That's it, that is. Moranov then is looking to try and get himself back past the Williams of Reflection, then heading down the back straight once again. Then MHD's picked up a penalty, then MHD is in the pit lane, and what's he going to do now is the question then for the Haas driver then. Thunder then supporting the MHD as we go into lap 26. Then Moranov is back past Reflection, then into the chicane. Then now Reflection potentially could fight back. Then Kamara's fought back, then passing Farf or repassing Farf, then into P6. Then Reflection, then can he fight back and towards Sector 3? Then we'll have to wait and see then if he's going to just charge up his battery and wait for the opportune movement, or try and get himself past straight away. Then no, he's going to stay behind for the time being. Then lap 26 of 29. We'll have a look at the penalty situation. Then there is the penalty situation then for all drivers. And as it stands, then unfortunately they're piling up down the back of the order. Then 3 seconds for 300p, then 3 for Lewis Riley, then 6 for Kamara Racer, then and 3 for Mumford as it stands. And position changes is a bit different. We've got more yellow flags, then more yellow flags for somebody or other. I think it might be, oh, who is it? I'm not quite sure. It's all sorted. Position changes then. We've got Mumford up 2 places. Then he will stay in P2, I should say. Then if he finishes with the current penalty situation as it is, then Reflection is up 1 place. Then could get himself on the podium. Then could gain 2 places here for the Williams driver, his first podium of the season. Then could come in the final race of the season as well. Then Mistrally and Gordo in the pit lane. Then going for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. Fantastic stuff indeed. Fair play to those drivers for carrying on as well here. Farf is up 12 places. Then he could get himself an extra place then with Kamara Racer's penalties. That could be up 13 places for Farf as well. Then good stuff indeed. Lewis Riley then I think might lose out to Tory then in the penalty situation then, but will be demoted back down to P10 as it stands. Then R2B could get himself into the top 10 as well very soon. Reflection is back past Moranov then for that podium place. Then Reflection then is heading on to the podium then as it stands into the chicane we go, then locking up the brakes then on both sides on the front then as we head into the chicane as well then. But I think he's got a fantastic exit out of there then to potentially hold on to the P3 position, then heading into Sector 3. Then yes, he will do as we go on to lap 27 then into Sector 3 then for lap 27 I should say then. So there are your candidates then for driver of the day then in the comment section. Beast, Mumford, Farf and Reflection are your candidates here for the final race of the Silver Season 8 then. My goodness me, it's getting action-packed as we get out to the end of the race then. It looks like it's quite calm and collected then for Beast, as we'll come back to him as he starts lap 28 then. And he is quite calm and collected as it stands as well. Then Mumford then is the closest competitor then, but he's 2.8 seconds behind then, and he's also got a 3-second penalty which will be added on to his race time at the end of the Grand Prix. Reflection up into the podium places then, but Moranov then chasing him down still in the back. And we've got Muta then, who is 2.8 seconds behind the top 2, behind the 2 ahead of him I should say. Then Mr. Leeds picking up a penalty then, heading into lap 28 then as well then. Unfortunately for Mr. Reed then, but he's I think being lapped as well, trying to go for the fastest lap on the soft compound tyres. Vesia is in the pits, and Muta's left the session then. Muta's had an issue somewhere. He's left the session then in the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix, which is going to be great news for both Reflection and Moranov, but not great news for the McLaren driver unfortunately then, but he might be able to hold on to that position as well then with Kamara Racer 5 seconds back. Then we'll wait and see. Reflection then is holding off the Red Bull of Moranov then for the time being then into the chicane. Vanquish then has got himself another penalty unfortunately then. Pit stop then for Kiki as we've got Jay Hings and Farf. Jay Hings has got himself up into the fight now, and Jay Hings up into P6 then, passing both Kamara and Farf as well then into Sector 2, into the chicane I should say then. But Farf looks like he's going to try and battle back then into Sector 3 very shortly. And all this battling will help Muta as well then, potentially. If Muta can't get himself back in the session, then Jay Hings holds on to P6 for the time being. Reflections held on then to P3, but we're going to be heading on to the final lap of the Grand Prix here. His father's got himself through somehow, and Jay Hings down to P7 there, but I'm not quite sure what happened. It might be at the exit of the hairpin, and it's a bit of a wobble then for Jay Hings potentially then as we head on to the final lap of the Grand Prix. Then Beast has been leading the race then for the majority of the Grand Prix, apart from in the overstep in the pit stops, that is, and the overshadowing then of the pit stops then in terms of the strategies, that is. But he has done a fantastic job here then tonight then in Abu Dhabi for the final race of Silver Season 8 then. There he is then. The champion, of course, was crowned in the USA then a few rounds ago then in the driver's title, that is. Then he clinched the constructor's title with Mercedes then and his teammate Kiki then a few rounds later as well then, but they have had nothing to race for tonight then, to be fair, but they have just been cruising, I should say, then to the finish now, and Beast then is looking to finish off the season then as he started it then with a fantastic race win as well here. Moranov has got himself back past Reflection. Can Reflection fight back then into Sector 3? We'll come back to Beast then in just a second, because Reflection needs to get himself past here and get himself past quickly indeed as well. Then passing that Red Bull is paramount then for a podium here into the final sector we go then, and down the inside. No, he can't do it. Reflection needs to get himself past then, unfortunately for his case then, to get himself on the podium for the final race of the season. We'll come back to that then, as here comes Beast then. Beast has got himself into the lead of the Grand Prix. He's got himself pole position once again here tonight then, and Beast rounds the final corner for the final race of the season to win here in Abu Dhabi then as well. Fantastic stuff indeed from Beast, the champion of Silver Season 8, and has done it once again here in Abu Dhabi then. Pole position and the win for Beast, and another fantastic result then for the Mercedes driver then. Brilliant stuff indeed then. Mumford then P2, a brilliant race from Mumford as well then. Fantastic stuff from Mumford. Looking forward to seeing what he's going to be like then on the gold grid tomorrow next season, I should say. Goodness me. And fantastic stuff indeed from the Alpine driver then all season as well then. Brilliant stuff from Mumford as well. Moranov then P3 then has taken it away from Reflection, then Reflection with a fantastic result still nonetheless then has got himself P4 then, the best result of his season this season, I should say then. 24 rounds and the best result coming in the final round of the season for the Williams driver, and well done to Reflection then. A fantastic qualifying and a fantastic race then for Reflection as well then. Brilliant stuff indeed from the Williams man, and congratulations then to Reflection then on his best result of the season in the final round of the season as well then. Really well done indeed then for himself then and for Williams here tonight. Mumford then P5, Muta P5 did manage to hold on to that position then. Favre P6 then in the end, Jay Hings P7, Tory then P8, then Riley in P9, Kamara Racer P10, then Swindler P then just outside the top 10 by a second then in the Alpine. P11 for him, Astrodron then P12, MHD P13, R2 P14, Kiki will round the corner then in P15, then Justify P16, Vessia P17, Mr. Elite P18, Vanquish P19, and Gordo P20 then, and Kiki, once he does cross the line hopefully, will be able to finish off this Grand Prix, and we will be it'll be fantastic, because we'll have all 20 finishers then in this Grand Prix then who started the race then. All 20 finishers that finished the Grand Prix as well. 29 laps then of Abu Dhabi here tonight then. Wow, that was fantastic. Hope, oh dear, Favre doesn't deserve driver of the day, says Ginger Age. Then I voted before positions went up, says Mushroom. Unfortunately for Mushroom, then he didn't. He was a bit premature on the voting there. Cloaking Device says Mushroom was well than Hacks, says Ginger Age. And great race, great drive for Reflection as well from Ginger Age. Goodness me, I'm almost out of breath there. Reflection and Torpedo as well. Good stuff indeed. Right there are the podium celebrations then. Mercedes very happy as well then with their driver on the top step once again then. We've also got Mumford then in the Alpine P2 then, and Moranov in the Red Bull then P3. There we go then. That is it. Done and dusted then for Abu Dhabi. Then done and dusted for Silver Season 8 as well. Then 24 rounds have been completed then for Silver. And what a season it's been then. What a season for Beast as well. The champion then wins the final race of the season as well. Then Mumford P2, Moranov P3, rounding off the podium. Then Reflection P4, a fantastic result for him. Then Muta P5, Favre P6, Jay Hings P7, Tory P8, then Lewis Riley P9, and Kamara Racer rounds off the top 10. 300p in P11, then Astrodron in P12, MHD in P13, R2 P14, Kiki P15, Justify P16, Vessia P17, Mr. Elite P18, Vanquish in P19, and Gordo in P20 rounds off the field. Then all 20 drivers finished the Grand Prix. And there we are. Then we will get ourselves some interviews. I think hopefully with some of the top 3 drivers. Then we'll find out in just a jiffy when if they're available. We'll start off. Oh dear, that's me. Wrong camera. So, we'll start off with Beast. Then Beast, fantastic result then from yourself. Then here tonight. Then once again, then a commanding victory and a fantastic qualifying as well. Then what was the? Can you? Well, we won't talk about the race just to start with. What was the highlight of your season then so far? What was your highlight of your season in total? You finished it.
Well, I don't even know. Probably just winning the championship. Honestly, that was my goal. Joining this league, like what, three and a half years ago, something like that. Never thought I would actually do it, but because the guys in these leagues is pretty rapid. But obviously, this game was mine, and never gave up. So yeah, probably that, mate.
Absolutely brilliant stuff indeed. Then from yourself as well. Then and once again, this I was saying in qualifying already, but also in the race itself as well. Then you just it was beast of all season. Then it was just pole position and race win. Then it was job done. It seemed effortless then from you tonight. Was it effortless, or did you have to do some hard work tonight as well then to win that race?
It was definitely effortless on the first stint because you didn't have to do much really in the DRS train. In that last stint, I definitely had to push a little bit I was trying to keep Mumford at least 3 seconds, just in case I get myself a 3-second penalty. But I wasn't pushing like 100%, but I was definitely not chilling.
Well, you still got yourself another fantastic win, and I think that takes your record. There, me 1 second. I think that takes your record now to 12 wins in the 24-round season. So you've won half of the races out of the whole season, which is pretty impressive stuff indeed. 11 pole positions then, and 19 podiums, including today as well. Then, which is a fantastic season to say the least. Then, in my opinion, what's your thoughts on that record?
Well, going into the season, I had like what 3 wins. I don't know how many podiums. I can't remember. So just have been an amazing season, honestly. Yeah, just mind blowing to be honest.
Fantastic stuff indeed. Then we'll leave it there then, and we'll see you in gold next season. Sure? Yeah.
Maybe? No, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, change your work shifts around, and then we'll see you in gold, mate. That's all right. Good stuff indeed.
I'll try. Okay, I'll try.
Well, fantastic stuff then, and well done indeed then to Beast, and of course champion then in USA, then 5 rounds to go as well then, and of course claiming the win here tonight then in Abu Dhabi as well then. Fantastic stuff from Beast then. He is silver season 8 champion as well then, so we'll crack on then with the next on the list then as well, but really well done then to Beast then this season and tonight as well then. We've got hopefully we've got Mumford. Have we got Mumford in here? Mumford? Is Mumford here?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Good stuff indeed tonight as well then from Mumford then, of course. It was basically the beginning of the season for me again then watching qualifying, because it was both yourself, watching the qualifying and the beginning of the racing, because it was both yourself and Beast then battling then lap after lap then for the lead of the Grand Prix in the first stint especially. Was it the same for you then, or did you just or did you think you had the win in sight tonight, or did you think maybe Beast was going to just drive off in the distance like he did in the end?
Yeah, no, I knew I definitely had the pace from the 100% race last week when I was able to keep up with the guys in gold. Obviously, it's equal performance, but yeah, but no, and I think the race finished really when I had that 3-second penalty and Beast shot off with the undercut, so.
And well, to be fair, your record this season as well then, five wins and 2 pole positions and it was 13 podiums in the end with this race included as well. Then still not a bad record, to be fair, to say the least. That is, I have to say, because to be fair, I can't get anywhere near the top 10 in most cases. So you still did a fantastic job this season as well. Then of course the first few races were an epic battle between yourself and Beast. Then do you have any highlights, or do you have a specific highlight of the season for yourself then, or is it just are you unhappy with P2 in this title race?
To be honest, it was probably just the first win. I think it was in Saudi Arabia. Well, I've been here now, I think almost 5 years, so I think to finally get that first win was a bit of a relief.
Brilliant stuff indeed, and yes, I do remember that. It was a very good battle right to the line then on the final lap of Saudi Arabia with Beast as well then. So yeah, it's great stuff indeed that was. And in terms of next season then, we've invited you, or I've invited you to join Gold if you want to. Will you be looking to jump into Gold then and carry on the form from this season as well?
I'd like to be up as high up as possible. I don't think I'll be quite this high up, but yeah, I think just hopefully just consistent points and maybe some top fives, and yeah, that's about it, to be honest.
And I think, like I said, based on your qualifying pace and your race pace as well this season, I think you'll probably be in the definitely sort of fighting in the points then for gold next season as well. And so looking forward to seeing that as well. Then you've done a brilliant job this season as well, Mumford, and looking forward to dropping off your trophy then as well very soon. So good stuff indeed. We'll go to Maranov next. I think Maranov has joined us for the final podium place. Then Maranov, then you're one of yours. I think your first few. Let's have a look and see where you are then in the
first.
Where are you then? I think you're on your second appearance. I think in silver tonight. This season that is. No, it's not. Sorry, it's I'm completely wrong on this, but I can't see this table very well. Never mind. I think it's probably your sixth then start, but. No, I think fantastic podium from yourself. Then some great battles as well tonight. Then as well, and really well done to yourself in the Red Bull tonight. Did you have any thoughts about the race then that you want to tell us about, or is there anything any highlights of the race from tonight's race that you want to tell us about as well?
Yeah. First of all, can you hear me, or my voice is okay or not?
Yeah, all good.
First of all, I want to thanks for this league. I'm the newest one in here, and my English is very bad. I try my best to give to, but the race is good. Ultimate Beast is very fast in the second sector, second stint. I was trying to be pit together, but I um, try to not give any penalty or track limit. But Ultimate Beast is 3 second gain in pit lane, and after that, I try to keep my pace with Mumford, but he's also too fast in second stint, and I try my best to give podium and have a killing race. And yeah, that's the highlight. And I try my best to the best race I can. And thank you for this amazing league. And I hope in the next season in gold or silver or bronze, I have a full seat and try my best to more race and more podium, more also win.
Great stuff indeed. Then, and in the pit stop phase, you did say you lost some time to Beast in the pit stops. I'm pretty sure you came in quite close together to each other. What happened in the pit stops then? Because the gap when you came out then was a lot bigger. Then it was over 2 seconds.
Yeah. Before that, we are 5/10. I think after that, I was in this circuit pit lane. A bug for track limit. I try my best to not go on that, but that cost 2 or 3 seconds, and it is what it is. And I try my best to keep that pace, but in second stint, honestly, I have no pace keep with leaders, but it's good to have a podium and great battle with Reflection, if I say correct his name, and he's very good, and I try my best to give him in get him in last lap, and it worked, and I'm happy for that.
Great stuff indeed then, and well done indeed for your first podium then of the season as well after jumping into the Red Bull seat tonight. And congratulations then to Maranov, then rounding off the podium here in Abu Dhabi. Then that is the final race for Silver Season 8. Then we're done for 2024. We'll be back for Silver Season 9 in 2025. Well done then to Maranov, then P3. Mumford then
Thanks.
in P2 and Beast then in P1 here tonight, then rounding off the season here in style in Abu Dhabi. Then thanks very much for joining us, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow night for bronze action as well. the title to be decided tomorrow night. Then in between Marvsky and Kian, then for the final race then of bronze, the final race for ALR in 2024 as well. Then so stay tuned to ALR. There's plenty more action coming up then tomorrow night. Then and we'll see you very soon.